Coming up on City Spotlight, we are talking education in Mattoon with Lakeland College President Dr. Josh Bullock. We will discuss how Lakeland has grown across its 4 campus locations during Dr. Bullock's tenure. Also, how Lakeland has adjusted to the Illinois state budget situation. And we will talk about the impact that the late Dr. Robert Webb had on Lakeland. Stay tuned. City Spotlight begins now. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. And thank you to all of you for joining us for another edition of City Spotlight. Today we're talking education in Mattoon. And joining me today is the president of Lakeland College, Dr. Josh Bullock.
Happy to be here today. Thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time to be on City Spotlight. And again, thank you for being here, and tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been at Lakeland College?
Well, I've been at Lakeland College now since July 1st of 2013, so it's hard to believe 2.5 years have passed, so I'm in my 3rd year, and have thoroughly enjoyed it. The Mattoon, Charleston, Coles County area is incredible, and my family has adapted well, and we are really loving this area. On a recent episode, we had Dr. Glassman of Eastern Illinois University. I asked him what did he know about EIU when he applied for the position of president at Eastern. When you, a couple years ago, what struck you with wanting to apply for the position of president at Lakeland College? Well, you know, Lakeland College nationally has a great reputation, and I knew that. One of the things that I always looked for were those colleges that were nominated as Aspen Award winners. In the community college world, Aspen Award winners are usually the creme de la creme of community colleges. Those that are nominated for that award are generally the best of the best. And what I found as I was researching Lakeland College is they had been nominated twice for an Aspen Award. So that told me that it was an institution of extremely high quality. And honestly, when I read the position description, what Lakeland College stood for, its values, the family structure that surrounds the campus, it really fit me to a T. And I knew that in my heart that was where I wanted to be.
Okay, so 2+ years later, how has Lakeland grown under your tenure? You have 4 campuses, Mattoon, Effingham, Marshall, and Pana. How has Lakeland grown in the time that you've been here?
Well, Lakeland College has grown in a variety of ways since I've been here. I don't want to attribute that growth to myself. I think we have an incredible staff at Lakeland College. Our faculty are there, they're committed to our students. Our staff are there for our students. So it really isn't necessarily my growth, but what our entire college campus has been able to achieve. We've done a lot of things for our students in the way of programming. So if you look at sustainability, for instance, helping our students grow and learn about sustainability and the things that are going to better our environment for the future. We've been able to expand our nursing program and allied health programs. We've been able to do more with manufacturing. We've been able to do much more with our local employers, and not just preparing students who are graduating high school and entering college, but transitioning those incumbent workers to new skill sets so they can advance in their own organizations. So I attribute that level of growth to all of the hardworking staff at Lakeland College.
I guess you could call those accomplishments. Are there any others that you could say you're very proud of?
Well, I'm proud of what we've been able to do in the last year. So Lakeland College recently has been reaccredited by the Higher Learning Commission. And that's really important to us. And that's a process that is a very long process. It's a 10-year accreditation cycle, so typically the college is in constant preparation for those visits, constant preparation for submitting the information that the Higher Learning Commission looks at. We have site visits, so we have accreditors that come on campus. So I'm extremely proud of what we've been able to accomplish. And Lakeland College has won numerous awards in the last several years as well. We have been recognized by CNN Money as one of the top 100 community colleges for completion, which truly as an institution is what we're all about. It's about helping our students get the skill sets and degrees they need to move their lives forward. And we're extremely proud of that.
And you mentioned the accreditation, obviously a long, hard-working process that takes people to get done. What does the accreditation mean to Lakeland?
Accreditation is our lifeblood. If you're not accredited, you can't receive financial aid. There are many different types of programs you can't participate in. Accreditation is essentially the assurance to our community, to our students, that we are a quality institution. It's that assurance that we provide. The process is long and extensive and involves just about every single member of the Lakeland College family, from providing reports to ourselves compiling a comprehensive overview of who we are as an institution, and then having reviewers come on campus and essentially validate that the story we've shared with them about Lakeland College is an accurate story about who we are. And I'm happy to say the reviewers had extremely positive feedback when they were on campus. One of the things that struck them was how engaged our students are. They said, your students feel like Lakeland College is a family to them. And that, to me, is probably the thing I am most proud of, is Lakeland College is a family environment for our students, for our faculty and staff, and I think that was recognized by the accreditors who came to view the college.
So family atmosphere at Lakeland. A couple of new things going on at Lakeland is the Lakeland College Career Academy. It got started this fall in Mattoon. What can you tell us about that program?
The Career Academy is one of those programs that's there to ensure students can get a leg up on the job skill sets that they need to form a career. So the way we look at it is there are many high school students there are about 40% who attend Lakeland College, about 25% that attend a four-year public university, and that means there's about 35% that they might not have a goal in life or might not have a direction after high school. So our goal with the Career Academy is to take every student, whether they're college bound or not college bound, and say, okay, let's look at getting you some career skills while you're in high school. So essentially students come to Lakeland College's campus 5 days a week, every morning, and they are Lakeland College students. And we're training them, we're piloting this in two specific areas, in manufacturing skills training, which we know is in extremely high demand in our communities, and construction trades. So those areas are so important, and I should add automotive trades as well. Those areas are really important to our district, Lakeland College's district, which quite honestly covers 4,000 square miles. So it's a very large district that we want to make sure those district employers have the workforce. Those students can take that skill set, they'll leave Lakeland College as a senior in high school with a credential. They'll have a high school degree and a college credential, and they can take that credential on and continue to improve themselves, either to go on for an associate degree or hopefully go on for a bachelor's degree at some time as well. So it's really about building a skilled workforce for our employers. The key for community colleges, the key for universities, is ensuring we can give a strong education here locally so that students want to stay. They build their families here, they build their careers here, and they become contributors to society. They get involved in their communities, and that's the whole premise of the Career Academy, is to foster that sense of learn here, grow here, get employed here, and contribute back to your communities.
So off to a good start is the Lakeland College Career Academy, and it's going to be going on at the Effingham campus soon.
Yes, we are in discussions currently with the Effingham community, so we have business and community leaders involved, we have the Chamber of Commerce involved, we have all of the school districts in Effingham County involved, and we're formulating a collaborative means to provide something similar in Effingham, where again, the students from Effingham County will have the same opportunity to gain skill sets, those technical skill sets while they're in high school, that they can take out into the workforce. Again, it's about building and growing our workforce to sustain the employers we have here and encourage people to stay right here in our wonderful communities.
And before we get into some of the structural updates and some other fields of study that are strengths of Lakeland, I want to ask you about the state budget situation in Illinois. We're taping this in the middle of November and still has not been resolved. How has that impacted Lakeland, and how have you guys dealt with that situation?
Well, I think it's impacted every institution in the state of Illinois, and Lakeland is absolutely no different. Where we may be a bit different is Lakeland College has begun preparing for this years ago, and actually in the last 2 years we've even ramped up that preparation. We saw the budget crisis coming. Last year, as we started the budget year, we took some very difficult, or made some very difficult decisions. We ended up laying off some staff. We cut our operational budgets. We did some other things that were in the right fiscal means to ensure that Lakeland College could be solvent during the budget crisis. And thankfully we did, because right now we are weathering the storm very, very well. But time will tell, and depending on when we get a state budget, what other actions need to occur. And no matter what we do during these times, we've made a commitment that the state budget is not going to impact the quality of education for our students or the services we can provide for them. So whatever adjustments may need to be made down the road, as we learn more about what the budget really will be, our goal first and foremost is to ensure that our students have that quality education and that they have the services they need to make sure that they can be successful. Bar none, that is our number one priority.
And talking with community leaders here on City Spotlight since the spring, constantly having to change their future plans, adjust their budgets. It's never easy. And how have you guys been able to, having to adjust week to week, month to month? That's got to be really tough.
It is, but again, good fiscal planning on the front end has allowed us to adapt on the back end. So as I mentioned in the last several years, as we've tried to reel things back in, cut our costs in anticipation, it positioned us in a much different light than many of our peers. We are positioned right now very well to weather a budget crisis. And we are doing so. Does that mean additional changes won't need to be made? It likely may be the case depending on what the outcome of the budget is or when that budget is passed. But I think we are in an extremely strong position right now as an institution to weather the fiscal crisis the state is giving to us.
And one of those programs offered by Lakeland College that was affected by that was the adult education. How was it affected by it?
Well, adult education in the state of Illinois is funded through partially state dollars, but really it's majority of it's federal dollars. And what's happened recently is that the federal dollars have been appropriated to the state, but the state simply has not passed through those federal dollars to the community colleges. That's a significant amount of money to Lakeland College, to the tune of $400,000 to $500,000. With that said, when there's no money flowing, we simply are not able to offer adult basic education courses. And so the college and the Board of Trustees made a difficult decision that if the state budget, if they do not pass through the federal dollars, we will be suspending our adult basic education program December 31st. Now with that said, the Lakeland College Foundation stepped up to the plate and said, listen, we want to make sure we can at least offer some of the basic courses. So the adult basic education, which entails a multitude of things, basic education welding, basic nursing, but also things like English as a second language and GED preparation to help individuals get their high school degrees. Our foundation stepped up to the plate and said, listen, we want to provide some money to help those occur. So I'm happy to say that in the spring term across our district, we'll be offering 20 classes in ESL and GED preparation. We'll serve a minimum of 180 students, so we're still there as a lifeline for those students who really need us to make themselves, to better their place in life. And we want to continue to make sure that that happens, and thankfully our Lakeland College Foundation was there to step up to the plate and ensure that that could happen.
Excellent. Glad to hear that it's going to be able to, things will be offered there during these tough times. Another program at Lakeland is the Ag program, nationally recognized. If you could maybe elaborate on some of the highlights of students that are involved in the Ag program, what do they get out of that?
Well, it's an incredible program. We get students now from about 9 different states that seek out Lakeland College and come to Lakeland College because they want to learn from our faculty and staff. We were recognized by Community College Week as one of the top 12 in the nation of those offering associate degrees, and that's universities as well. So we're extremely proud of that. But what they get out of that is really a top-rate education. We have partnerships with agricultural companies from the smallest to the very largest across the nation that our students will go out and conduct their supervised occupational experience or internship as part of. We have a very, very strong relationship with John Deere. We're one of the few John Deere training sites for their technicians in the nation, and that program is always full with waiting lists. Our dealerships look forward to partnering with Lakeland College to ensure they get technicians. So overall, Lakeland College, with their reputation, our students will know when they graduate from Lakeland College, number one, we have guaranteed transfer to the University of Illinois. So they can continue that degree. We have transfer agreements with our other institutions, East Illinois University, if they want to get into a business degree, for instance. So those students know they have options. They can transfer anywhere, not only in the state of Illinois, but within the nation. And those students who are in the terminal degrees or the AAS degrees, they have opportunities to enter the workforce and generally given priority because they are a Lakeland College graduate.
So it's continued success with the Ag program at Lakeland College. Also, Lakeland has had success with technology, enhancing the learning environment. If you could tell us how some of the technology at Lakeland is helping students out.
Well, we use technology at Lakeland all across the board. And as a matter of fact, the Center for Digital Education, again for the second year in a row, ranked us in the top 10 community colleges nationally for use of technology in advancing our students. And we're very proud of that as well. And to share some examples in the classroom, for allied health, we have a fully stocked nursing lab that has human simulators. So when students come in, if there's shortage of clinical experiences or if we want to supplement clinical experiences, they can work on human simulators, fully computerized simulators. 2 years ago, we built our Zero Energy building, which not only serves as a building on campus for our staff, but there's also an open lab. So our students who are in our sustainable energy programs can go out and look at technology. They can see the photovoltaic and how it generates power. They can see the LED lighting in action. They can see how geothermal works. So we do as much as we can in the programmatic areas to ensure technology is there for our students. But more importantly, for all of our students, we are now in a thin client system. So imagine a student who in the past might have to go into a CAD lab to take their CAD class or to do their homework. They'd have to come to campus, they'd have to enter the CAD lab. Those students now can log in from their home computer and it's a virtualized machine. They will see every piece of software that the classes they're enrolled in they should have access to based on those classes. And so it helps the students immeasurably. They don't have to drive to campus. They don't have to spend the gas or the time. They can now do these things from home. So our goal is to take technology and enhance the student experience wherever possible, whether it's classroom related or whether it's overall technology for the campus.
A person that would be smiling about all this new things and success at Lakeland College would be Dr. Robert Webb. He recently passed away. Dr. Webb had ties with Eastern Illinois University in addition to his work with Lakeland College. Lakeland College got started 50 years ago, and Dr. Webb was one of the, I guess you call, original leaders of Lakeland. What did you learn from Dr. Webb?
You know, Dr. Webb began, you're right, at the college. He was there when it started. And imagine a man who would leave a secure job as a superintendent of schools in Shelbyville to take on this entirely new venture, this unproven adventure of community colleges. Amazing to me that somebody would have that passion. And then to move from a vice president to serving as president for 12 years. Incredible. But what I've learned from Dr. Webb, because I not only saw him at many, many Lakeland College events, but I served as a Rotarian with Dr. Webb. And if he's taught me anything, it's not to take yourself too seriously. That don't ever let the job overtake you as an individual. Take time to count your blessings, smell the roses. And I'll always appreciate that from Dr. Webb to help me see that in what can oftentimes be an onerous job.
And to what you learned from Dr. Webb, what should people remember about him and what his impact on Lakeland College was?
Oh gosh, Dr. Webb's impact was tremendous. He was there from the day that we were operating in various locations around Mattoon, from the armory to an old gas station, to seeing the campus grow and build, to building the beautiful campus we have on Route 45 now. He was there through all that. He took us from a few students to 2,600 FTE by the time he retired as president. I think staff will remember his wisdom, his friendship, but I think also his commitment to our communities. He was one of the founders of the East Central Illinois Development Corporation, which is a collaboration of multiple communities, multiple entities in those communities, and it's still alive and going. One of the few in the state that is cross-county collaborative economic development engine, and he started that at Lakeland College. So his contributions are truly immeasurable for who we are as an institution today. We wouldn't have Lakeland College as it stands today if it weren't for Dr. Webb.
And Dr. Webb, as I previously mentioned, he had ties to Eastern Illinois University. How would you describe the EIU and Lakeland College relationship?
I think we have a fantastic relationship. We've done a number of things in the past. We now have a service center on Lakeland College's campus for EIU, and that's because the majority of our students who transfer to Eastern Illinois University. And we recognize that. We want to make sure we can continue to facilitate that transfer because, as I said before, if we can keep them in our communities for education, we can keep them here to become employees and become contributors and become good citizens. So that was opened. Last year we signed a reverse transfer agreement with Eastern Illinois University that provides a seamless reverse transfer for students. If they should happen to leave Lakeland College before graduating and transition to Eastern, we can now take those credits back and graduate them from Lakeland College. And I'll say I've had many, many interactions. Dr. Glassman and I are on the phone probably once or twice a week. And I will say that our relationship, I can guarantee, will only continue to get stronger. And I think our partnership will only continue to get stronger. We have a lot of good that we can do together for our communities and for the surrounding communities. And I have no doubt that that's going to occur under Dr. Glassman's leadership.
Strength for the communities, strength for Coles County to have two higher forms of education. It's quite a unique opportunity, and I'm sure Mattoon, Charleston, all of Coles County is really proud to have Lakeland College and Eastern Illinois University. What do you think about that uniqueness of small Coles County, USA, and in Illinois to have two higher forms of education?
You're absolutely right. What a blessing for the community, and what a blessing for us as institutions to have the support that we have. Coles County is extremely blessed, and the surrounding communities we serve are blessed. We have very positive relationships as a college. We serve 53 communities in 15 counties. But we're extremely proud of our relationship with Mattoon and our relationship with Charleston. As a matter of fact, last year the Mattoon City Council approved putting on the water tower by the Home Depot, home of Lakeland College, to show that support and that relationship that we have. We work extremely closely together as communities with the colleges and with the university to ensure that we're all there to support each other.
And as I asked Dr. Glassman on a previous episode of City Spotlight, I asked him about how EIU impacts Charleston and vice versa. How does Lakeland College impact Mattoon, and how does Mattoon impact Lakeland College?
Well, I think Mattoon's impact on Lakeland College is probably more important than the college's impact on Mattoon. We work extremely collaboratively together. I'll give you an example. The Lakeland College Police Department, which is a fully sworn law enforcement agency, serves as backup to Mattoon. So in times when there might be shortages or might be late at night and something happens, we work collaboratively together. And I think we see that across everything that we do. We work extremely collaboratively with the city of Mattoon. So we're very proud to be located in Mattoon, and we're very proud to be located in Coles County. What does Lakeland College get from Mattoon? I don't think we expect anything from the city. I think we just expect to continue to have a strong partnership, and we continue to be there for each other to ensure that we can help our communities grow.
And one thing I want to ask you about, Eastern Illinois University adopted a new logo, and I understand we're taping this prior to it happening, but Lakeland's going to have a new logo. Branding marketing is something that's probably very important to most institutions and any business. Talk about that process of changing the Lakeland logo.
It was quite an extensive process. As a matter of fact, we had well over 100 community members, staff, students, a variety of people involved in discussions about what does our brand mean? What does Lakeland College mean to you? And through all those discussions, we realized that what we were portraying as Lakeland College and our current logo at that time really didn't express who we were as an institution to those individuals. And so we worked on developing a new logo, which we're extremely proud of. We're also going to be November 24th releasing the name of our new mascot. We have a new Lakeland College mascot, the Mallard, and that is after many, many years of having Dunker Duck at the college. That just didn't seem to fit anymore. It's more related to basketball, and it's not broadly used for athletics and student activities and things. So our Lakeland College mascot is new. The students love it, the staff love it, and hopefully when the naming comes out November 24th, the community will embrace our new mascot and its new name.
So we're taping this prior to it, so
yes.
Hopefully we're showing that on the screen right now. What does that do for to change your logo, which is kind of it's a symbol. It's how people recognize. What does that do for an institution?
I think it brings a fresh new look and feel to the institution. It makes people reconsider who we are as an institution. One of the things we found in our research was everybody knew Lakeland College was there, and everybody knew what Lakeland College did for the community. But I view it much like being in a marriage for a long period of time, where maybe you kind of grow accustomed to each other and you don't really have a lot of expectations beyond what you know of each other. And so this is a new way for us to express who we are as an institution and to get people excited about, gosh, maybe I better check out Lakeland College again and see what the new Lakeland College is about. So it's really hopefully there to re-entice people to think about Lakeland College.
Exciting, a brand new logo for Lakeland. That's all the questions I have for you, Josh. Is there anything else that may have popped in your head now that you want to reiterate here as we conclude this episode of City Spotlight?
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here and share the Lakeland College story. Again, we are so proud to partner with Eastern Illinois University, and I can assure you that good things are on the horizon for those partnerships into the future. And I know all of us are struggling with budgets, but you know what? If we all consider that our students are our number one priority in helping our communities to thrive and sustain themselves, we'll all be okay.
Sounds like a great ending to this episode. Dr. Josh Bullock, the president of Lakeland College, thank you for coming on City Spotlight.
You're very welcome.
And as we continue on here on City Spotlight, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Mattoon. City Spotlight is on YouTube. Past episodes can be viewed on East Central Illinois towns that have been featured on City Spotlight. Just search on YouTube City Spotlight with the show number and the name of the town. Listed on your screen are the recent episodes of City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.